Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be Nurgle led by Martinius facing off against the Norscans, who are going to be helmed by Oishi, and this is actually from the best of 3 series in the recent Total Tavern finals between Martinius and Oishi, so we will be posting all these replays here in the next few days. So, as far as the build goes for Nurgle, it is going to be kind of an OG pick, early Warhammer 3 pick, early-ish. It's going to be Festus the Leech Lord. So what does he bring to the table? It looks like he's going to be doing obviously his draining and his AoE healing, but more importantly, he's going to be using the Lore of Nurgle passive, the Children of Nurgle. Every time he casts a spell, the entire high HP army is going to be getting a fat heal. So spamming 2 very cheap spells. Miasma is very cheap at 4 Winds of Magic, and Stream of Corruption's only 5, and is a very, very good spell. 100% AP, just a great kind of Winds of Death, breath type spell. So Chaos Warriors in the front, they'll trade well enough. They will down trade into some of the Marauder Great Weapons, but they would still win that fight. But, resilient enough. We do have some Plague Bears on the wings and Exalted Plague Bears in the back. So the reason why you bring Exalted Plague Bears in this matchup is because not only are they super good at fighting most of the Norscan infantry, but the Unholy Hand Grenades are just god tier against the big elephants. So against the Mumakil, the War Mammoth here, it gives Nurgle an anti-large tool, or kind of a winds of... Poison Wind Globadier of sorts that's good at killing monsters. So I really like the Exalted Plague Bear pick. We got some Chosen of Nurgle. Oh, what a Giga Chad build. Chosen of Nurgle, just one of the coolest units in the game. But yeah, I mean, they'll beat down most of what Norsca can throw at them, that's for sure. Unless they get run over by Mammoth. Mammoth will counter them pretty damn hard. So for the build of the Great Oishi, he's going to be using Throg the Troll King. We do also have the Marauders with Great Weapons, more Marauders here, Javelin Throwers on the wings. Javelin's pretty good against Nurgle, can counter Toads, and do good enough damage against some of the lightly armored infantry as well. And Throg. So really a lot of this is going to come down to good burning heads from the Shaman Sorcerer in the back. Is he going to be able to burning head and maybe get rid of the Exalted Plague Bears using some... I don't know how he's going to get rid of those quickly, but if the Mammoth is allowed to feast, it will counter most of this build, but if the Mammoth gets shut down, Nurgle definitely will be in a position to win this. So it looks like the objectives are now going to start getting grabbed. Objective 1 is going to go to the forces of Norsca up on the high ground, and Objective Dose is going to be going to Martinius down here with his double Chaos Warrior, as well as Festus the Leech Lord. And now the Legions of the Plague God advance on Objective 3, where the Norscans have set up shop. And Norscan infantry is just going to be baseline Marauders, which will get crushed by Plague Bears, but, it'll probably be like 60% left on the Plague Bear. It's not the worst trade in the world, but yeah, Plague Bears are pretty Giga Chad fighters. They definitely can hang in there. So what are the call-ins going to be? Marauder Horsemen for Nurgle. More Plague Bears, it looks like, were called in originally. And for Norsca, just more and more Javelins, more range poke, taking advantage of one of the things that Nurgle doesn't do super well, which is ranged exchange. I mean, they do have the Soul Grinders of Nurgle and Marauder Horsemen, but yeah, it's not a good time for them. So the Marauders thought about going in there, and then they're like, wait a second, I don't want to get some incurable disease. We're going to run this way instead and use our Javelins to poke down the Plague Bears there. So they're going to continue retreating, and the Mammoth also screened out because of the Exalted Plague Bear grenades. So really nice deck here from Martinius. I like it quite a bit. The Norsca looks like they're going to be contesting the middle, using their range to envelop in and poke, and the Plague Bears, like I said, take quite a bit of damage from the Javelin fires. So the Javelin's eating in there, Plague Bear's going to be taking it. The Blessed 69 leadership, the number of Slaanesh, somehow infesting this Nurgle army. Festus going to be waddling back over towards Objective 2 to try and support a little bit. And now Norsca's going to be trying to counterpunch in. So Martinius sitting at 1,200. I wonder if we're going to be seeing a Chaos Knight or a Rot Knight or something like that. Chaos Knights would be really brutal here. None of the Norscan army is really good against them that's currently on the field. We could, of course, see some counters like Skin Wolves or Armored Skin Wolves coming out. Throg is good against them, I suppose, but yeah, we will find out. So yeah, Nurgle just kind of cackling on 2 objectives. Festus does have his healing elixirs on, which is going to be healing the Plague Bears perpetually. Although I think they're a little bit out of range right here, but the Marauders getting smashed up. Middle objective might be flipping, but the Chaos Warriors do defeat the Marauders pretty decisively, actually. But now comes Throg Daddy as well as the Mammoth, so he's got his big beat stick. He's going to be clobbering time on these guys as the Mammoth of Norsca gets ready to roll in nice and dirty. We're going to see what kind of contact gets made. The Unholy Hand Grenades called forth. And are they going to make contact? So here they come, and there are the Stinky Grenades. The Mammoth immediately takes... about 1,000 damage, give or take, and we do see Miasma and Pestilence going down to lower its combat stats and also trigger an army-wide heal. Marauder Horseman also coming out to screen as Oishi is now going to be calling in a Feral Manscore, probably to try and assassinate Festus. I think that would be one of the more cost-effective angles. Big value lead for Norsca out of the gates. Plague Bears here getting folded up, and the Javelins just getting a ton of value against the very slow, ponderous Nurgle army. As we do see Festus the Leech Lord being hunted down by the Feral Manscore, so the Feral Manscore are going to be retreating back as the Unholy Hand Grenades try and make contact there. But Norsca is, Kawa Unga Bunga here. Oishi doing a good job keeping his Warshrine Mammoth alive. The Manscore also able to retreat back. Marauders with Great Weapons cruising up. And the Shaman Sorcerer of Plague of Rust being called in. So dual magic. Not only do we have Burning Head, but we also have a Plague of Rust caster, which against like Chosen and Warriors isn't bad. It's going to make the Javelins and Marauders fight, much more effectively. Okay, we get Rot Knights being called in. Yeah, I figured there'd be Rot Knights or Chaos Knights, but man, they're eating a lot of Javelin fire, and those Javelins, even though they're not huge AP, are anti-large, so that bonus is really going to kick in, and the Rot Knights are going to be forced to retreat. So out of the gates, Norsca value trading very, very well. But I can't tell you how many games I've seen with Nurgle where it looks like they're getting pounded, and then suddenly just the perpetual healing that from not only Festus, Fecundity lore passive or army passive, as well as the spell lore passive from the lore of Nurgle really just add up. So Burning Head going down over here does cook some of the Plague Bears. Looks like Nurgle's actually on its way to getting this objective back in due time. In the middle is still being fought over. Chosen of Nurgle are most likely grinding somewhere. Let's go ahead and see where they are, and I'll have to find them. They must have gotten lost in the ether. But the Unholy Hand Grenades are out of ammunition, so now the Mammoth is going to be rampaging pretty hard. It's going to be moving in, and this thing is it's on parade here. Rolling through these Chaos Warriors and some Throwing Axes trying to provide a little bit of supporting fire. Unholy Hand Grenades in guard mode, ripping whatever shots they can. Warshawn Mammoth, though, looking very, very jacked. And we got Pestigores back here. The Rot Knights are healing. The Chosen of Nurgle, those are the Pestigores. Where the hell did those Chosen of Nurgle go? There they are. Okay. So the Chosen of Nurgle, Giga chatting it on the outside objective, and probably surprising Oishi a little bit by just absolutely crushing everything they encounter. Chosen are a very good unit. As far as elite units go, they're one of the ones that are really, really, their armor makes them, I think, pretty viable, and obviously having access to a lore magic that can heal them is big as well. But Nurgle has firm control over Objective 3, and now it's time to move up the Exalted Plague Bearers and the Rot Knights and see if they're going to be able to take control over this point. Martinius is down a couple thousand value, 5.7 against 2.3, but Nurgle has had perpetual healing among, Rot Knights passive healing. Festus, Fecundity has been cast, I believe, at least once I've seen. So it's a much closer game than meets the eye, right? This game is actually very, very razor close on value, which is really insane. Probably maybe like 800 to 1,000 value for Norsca. I would, if I were a wager on man, that would be my guess. Because you can see Norsca is getting bullied off this objective right now. They're actually being pushed back. Their Marauders here are going to be folded up by the Exalted Plague Bearers. Festus getting attacked by the dreaded Manscore, but then the Manscore gets piled in by the Rot Knights. So the Rot Knights do get in there, and they're going to be putting a righteous whooping down on this Manscore. You can see the anti-large attack starting to really, really get in there, and that means that the Manscore is going to be rampaging here shortly. And we do see a response from Oishi. Oishi comes in with the Steel Chair, Throg as well as the Mammoth, but the Marauder Horsemen, a little bit of a lapse in micro here with these ones, but they're parked nearby. Festus is healing. This is basically like a hard-on power fantasy for Nurgle. You just have this blob. Everything is poisoned on the enemy side. You have them trapped in place here. And honestly, yeah, this is a big win for Nurgle in this engagement. Over here, the Chosen are going to make their way to the middle. Just leave a couple Plague Bears to cackle. In the meantime, though, Oishi running some interference with the Norscan Ice Wolves, trying to keep these Pestigores and Chosen from getting to the middle objective. Although, Festus unsupported here a little bit, getting run down by the Mammoth. If Festus were to die, that probably would be a GG. I mean, he's really the thing that's anchoring this. We do see Norsca pulling ahead, but I can't help but feel it's closer. But yeah, if Festus were to be killed and or routed off the battlefield, that's going to be really, really bad. Burning Head going down. Excellent Burning Head from Oishi. Could be nailing the Exalted Plague Bearers. And now the Norscan Doggies are going to be maybe escorting Festus. We'll have to see if he's able to rally. So Chosen on their way in, eating some Javelins. Certainly not something they enjoy doing, but their 120 armor will mitigate most of that damage. The Chosen will suffer a little bit against Trolls, and ooh, very cool usage of the Famir Warrior. That's something you don't see terribly often, but yeah, the Famir should be pretty good against the Chosen, actually, so I really, really think that's a cool pick. You almost never see those guys, but yeah, as attack against the Chaos Warrior, the Chosen, not bad at all. So, Nurgle does have the objectives back, and Festus does rally in the back. It looks like the Rot Knights were able to come over and stabilize with some Pestigores called out of the Vanguard, but Big Daddy Throg is coming in and going to be trying to take the Triple Chins to Pound Town here. 2200 HP, the healing elixirs are of course going. If he breaks too many times, he of course will shatter. Rot Knights need to zip over there right now and save, and it looks like that's what's going to be happening. Martinius immediately realizes it. And if you guys are aspiring Nurgle players, you really have to get in the mindset of, I'm going to be massively behind on value in a lot of games, but it doesn't mean I'm just outright losing. I've actually seen newer players getting into this game playing Nurgle, like leave games really early just because of the value metric. But keep in mind, the value metric is really broken. It doesn't like track a lot of things. It's very, very janky. So take it with a huge grain of salt. Honestly, there's times where I feel like I should just like turn it off and just not look at it and just like focus on the battle, and I would play better than letting it affect me. But yeah, those Chosen are doing work. I mean, they're beat up, but they are clubbing these Famir Warriors and also doing some damage against the Trolls. Festus once again getting attacked by the Manscore here, so Oishi really, really aggressive with this. But more Javelins coming in, so we do have several Norscan Javelins, which I like quite a bit. They're able to really poke down a multitude of targets, and I bet at the end of the game we're going to be seeing some nasty value here. Look at Oishi's army. Like, does he have the power to get through all this? I mean, man, just waves of Nurgle elites, Exalted Plague Bearers, Chosen, Frolickers, Bubonic. These Chosen here do get afflicted by Plague of Rust. But the Rot Knights should be able to take down the Manticore. Assuming the Manticore doesn't squeak away, their anti-large, their poison attacks should be pretty brutal. And it looks like they've earned a chevron already. Rot Knight's definitely one of the cooler looking units in the game. About 800 value there, so not too bad. So Festus healing up. He's going to be waddling back to the middle to join up with the crew. Oishi force off the objectives, and the dreaded Nurgle sustain here is no joke. Now, there are some Norscans on the high ground. Probably, I think Oishi should grab these Marauders with great weapons and move down here, but I don't know. Dude, like, this just looks like a brawl, like a wall of filth. That's going to be so incredibly hard to get. Yeah, I guess it's, there's time to work with. Oishi is a couple 100 points ahead, but at the current rate, we would see a victory from ye old Nurgle if it just stays as it is. Burning Heads, that's a step in the right direction for sure. Big crowd clearing abilities in tandem with the big scary Mammoth fighting. Mammoth is afflicted by the Miasma Pestilence. Currently at about half health, so it's really been grinding with these infantry, but it's good at routing them off. Demons, of course, aren't going to break and run. So Marauder Horsemen moving up. They're pretty much out of ammunition, but they will use the last of their ammunition here. I'd like to rotate from Oishi. I think that's a very good play. Heading over to Objective 3 is going to be incredibly money as Throg and the Javelin boys move over there. Manticore is shattered, so that thing is not going to be coming back. The Javelin's probably going to want to get on the corner of the objective here, then start throwing on top of the Plague Bear so they can threaten with capture weight and also provide utility. Granted, the little gremlins are hot on their tail, guys. We got the Nurglings Limp Biscuit rolling through here. And, yeah, they should be able to catch him. We'll see. Yeah, the poison and the Nurglings do have 32 speed. These guys are at 30 after being poisoned. But, yeah, this objective should probably be overwhelmed. And I don't know if Nurgle's going to be able to keep pace. If they do start to, lose objectives here, it's going to be hard. Like, Oishi is getting close to 1,000 points here. Looks like some Pesticores being left on the point. Plague Bears and Rot Knights, not the most maneuverable units. Nurgle's defenders on this objective are Plague Bears. But we do see Forsaken being called in. And no mere Forsaken. It is the dreaded Demon Spew. So the Demon Spew, very good unit. They do have an AoE debuff, but Forsaken in general are a very nice tool for Nurgle because it's fast capture weight, which isn't something they can come by easily outside of Vanguard Nurglings, which aren't really good at fighting on point. I mean, their killing power isn't great, but Nurgle does get to the objective with the Demon Spew, rear charges Marauders, and is going to be able to win the fight. And Oishi's rotate does get stymied a little bit here. He needs to get the Warshrine Mammoth over to start helping on the objective. We do see the two characters, the two shamans, running over to help as well. They're okay little fighters. They do have decent combat stacks, 30, 315. I mean, not great, but, they can hang in there. And beautiful burning heads from Oishi this game, by the way, so that's going to be a nice one. But Forsaken do have enough armor to not care too much about that. The Fecundity will keep them going, and they do rip through those units, but now they're going to be engaging against the Famir, the Mammoth, and Oishi was basically just running reinforcements, or running interference, to cut off the reinforcing Nurgle units that were heading over there right now. Need to see the Horsemen on the corner of the objective. If this objective does flip, that could put the game out of reach here for Martinius. It wouldn't be easy to get back. And it looks like it is going to be flipping here. Mammoth is trapped up in Plague Bears. We do see old Throg Daddy bringing his beat stick to bear against Festus the Leech Lord once again. Might be able to get the pick, and it looks like Oishi might be able to close this game out, guys. It was looking like it was back and forth, but getting this objective here is going to be really brutal. And if Festus gets hunted down by Throg, and Throg is a vastly superior fighter to Festus, as he should be, he's the Troll King. And Festus is just, kind of a big old fat neckbeard here. But he's going to be moving away with his Mountain Dew and his Cheetos, and yeah, he's going to be waddling. He's going to be trying to escape here. In the back, we do see the Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, getting ready to put some pressure on the Mammoth. But overall, Nurgle, got pulled apart a little bit there. They were very comfortable in the middle objective, but Norsca did a good play of threatening their weakest position, forcing the, not very mobile Nurgle army to be mobile, which is not what they're good at, and I think has actually taken over the game. Festus, the Leech Lord, does rally, but there are Javelins hot on his tail. Probably going to be able to even break him again if they can get a couple volleys off, although it looks like he does manage to waddle away. And that is just a rock-hard triple cap here. We do see the Plague Bears as well as the Forsaken here being worn down, and that is going to be a tap-out. GG, well played. Very good match between those two players. Enjoyed that one quite a bit. We'll see here. Festus was, he healed and provided support. Chosen 800 value, Exalted Plague Bearers. A lot of the elite infantry did struggle a little bit there, but they still did okay. Pestigores are obviously decent. Rot Knights only got 1,000. So Nurgle definitely did struggle to get value that game. They definitely did hurt. I think I would have liked to have seen the Angels of Decay. Instead of the Exalted Plague Bearers, maybe Angels of Decay to come in and try and deal with the Mammoth. Mammoth got 2,000. Throg got 24. Burning Headcaster did really good. Trolls got 1,000. Famir got about 900, so very good performance. But it was a great game. Martinius was definitely behind, but his good Nurgle, his skill with Nurgle, his familiarity with the faction was able to claw him back into the game. But at the end of the day, it was too little. So that was, I believe, game 1 of their series. So we will be casting the rest of the series. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And yeah, GG, well played.